This is Charlie Parsons for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted to be joined here on Zoom with a busy Kalle Sauerland this week. Kalle, how are you, mate?
Not too bad, not too bad. Always enjoyable to have a fight week on and other things happening and all a bit crazy. But apart from that, good. No, excited for Channel 5 boxing this Saturday night, 9:30 p.m. And we just announced Troy Williamson added to the card in hot anticipation that potentially the Kelly fight's getting made. Everyone wants it. So very excited to have Troy Williamson on the card as well. But yeah, no, it's going to be amazing with it's the first time promoting in Bolton, actually. So that's going to be
something
really
new,
cool. But it's all about the return of Lyndon Arthur, who I believe is the best light heavyweight in the country, and someone I believe that can go on and conquer the world. And I know there's other very good names in the UK, and that's not meant in a disrespectful manner, but I believe our guy is the best. I still can't believe we signed him. I thought he was under a long-term contract somewhere, but yeah, we're rolling with that and very happy and looking very forward to see Lyndon in the ring. Stack card, we've got a British title fight 50-50 on there with Gwynn versus Woodruff for the lightweight British belt. So very excited and looking forward to experiencing Bolton.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Gavin Gwynn, a friend of mine, someone I've known for a while. It seemed after and obviously delighted to see that you guys have signed him after pushback and pushback. I think we've seen him against Cordina, really good account for himself. And we see him against Macomb on one of them MTK shows where he, just looked incredible. For Gwynn, I suppose just being a bit annoying for himself because he hasn't had those opportunities. But I think obviously now signing with you, he's got the fight on this weekend. He can look up more positive signs.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, he's going to have the eyeballs of a free-to-air audience on Channel 5. Our first three shows have done massive numbers there. So it's the platform, isn't it? And he's got a tough fight. It's very, very, very well matched fight, as a lot of British title fights are. But the nice thing is for both of them, they get to do that. They get to go through that hard camp and then perform on a platform where everyone can see it. And I mean that, obviously, big fights take place on pay-per-view in this country because that's how it's financed. But the great thing is Channel 5 offers the chance for people to really put on amazing fights. And, we saw, for example, Denzel Bentley against Linus Vidofia was a cracking, also a British title fight earlier on this year. Those sort of fights, they would go under the radar. And, you're looking at the winner of that can go on and become really a household name on Channel 5, and that's really what it's all about, So, yeah, I mean, it's a great card. And I think that fight has the opportunity to sort of steal the show over some pretty big names. So, yeah, it's exciting.
I've got to ask you, and you're going to get it in every interview that you do this week. You know what I'm going to say before I speak about it. We saw last night an article was released. Chris EUBANK Senior, he said, "Look, the fight at 157, I won't allow my son to fight." We saw in the Gloves Are Off that Chris EUBANK said, "Look, the weight won't be too much of a problem." I think he sort of made a joke and was in good spirits about the sort of the 40% depletion. But he said that he wanted Senior in his corner on fight night. Given these comments, we've seen that Junior has got a trainer now and whatever. But where are we on this fight? Because I think it came as a bit of a shock to people last night.
I mean, first of all, the fight's on. The fight has never been off since it got signed. The weights were agreed. They were agreed very early on in the discussions. The negotiations in the second half of the negotiations, which was the last couple of weeks, were on completely different points. The weight, the rehydration, that was all was all agreed. What I would say is, you know, what happens between father and son, I can't comment on, never have. I've got a huge amount of respect for Senior. I don't know how those comments were made. They weren't to multiple sources. They weren't at a press conference. They were, I believe, at a launch of the speaking tour of Senior and Nigel BENN, which is, by the way, a fantastic show. But I can only comment on what I have, and that's you know, we've contracted with Junior, who is fully on board, sparring. My biggest problem at the moment is finding sparring partners. Our team's getting them from all over Europe because he's going through them at an alarming rate. He's putting a great camp in here, despite, you know, walking around with KFC buckets. And there's a lot of showmanship around it, you know, which we all knew when we get.
I was going to say, do you feel like we've seen EUBANK Junior in a bit of a different light through this fight, you know, that we may not have seen before? Like, I put out a post on my own social media saying I wish we'd seen this EUBANK Junior our whole career. In that gloves are off, it just seemed like he didn't care, and that was just so funny.
Yeah, you know what? He seems relaxed, doesn't he?
Yeah.
You know, it's normally, you know, I've done a lot of big fights with him. The one that sticks out, I think, in the build-up with George Groves was he was sort of counter-punching on Groves's comments at press conferences. Here he's very media savvy. He knows what to say, how to say it. But I think on this one, he's really dusted off the old Starman outfit.
Yeah.
You know, he's yeah. I mean, I think I've watched it back about 4 times now. That face, I mean, it really. There's some quotes in there I think you can make T-shirts of. Yeah, the walk in the park,
Yeah.
and then on a sunny day.
Yeah,
I've heard of a walk in the park before, but on a sunny day, there's a new one for me. That's fantastic. The one about the the sexual reference.
Staying from sex. Yeah.
But I thought I got to say when he was talking about the sexual references, I thought just as funny was that Conor was almost overwhelmed by the comments, because you could see like shocked when he goes, "Oh, we're talking about your sex."
Yeah, like, what are you on about?
You know, but it was like he steamrolled him with those comments, and he just didn't know where he was standing. And that, I think, showed a little bit that, you know, Junior has been at these big press conferences, face-offs, and what have you before, and you could see he was really reveling in it. You know, I think he wanted that show to go on 2 hours because I think he had a few more up his sleeve. But hey, we've got a press conference to come still in Fight Week, and a few more media days and some filmings before. So I'm sure there'll be lots of more good stuff to come. But you know, also the press conference was you know, to kick it all off was rather interesting. Didn't have to say too much up there.
And then, sorry, I will just ask one more on that. So, have you spoke to Junior since last night's sort of article?
Yeah,
it
didn't really address it. You know, it was more, what do you need tomorrow for sparring, for things like that. You know, obviously he's different. He's got his own team in Brighton. He's got the Wasserman boxing team up in London who are organising certain things for him. It was more day-to-day arrangement stuff. You know, it wasn't like, it wasn't a call, oh, is this true?
Yeah.
No, because and I'm always careful on what you read on, and this isn't any accusations for journalists. You know, it might be said in a different tone. I don't know. You report that though. If you have that in your hand, it's obviously gold dust. I think it was picked up by every other paper. So, you know, why not? You know, bit of a pain in the arse for us, but at the same time, what are we, 3 weeks out, 3.5, 4 weeks out? You know, this week we're probably been a more quiet week on EUBANK, BENN, and instead it's the talking point.
Yeah.
Doesn't help me in the middle of my Channel 5 fight night week.
I know, yeah.
But it was early in the week at least, so I'm hoping for a quieter second half of the week. And then we got the AJ Fury stuff in today as well.
Well, yeah, that was.
It's all systems go at the moment, isn't it?
I feel like Kalle, you could be the interviewer really, because you're just hurdling off my next point for me.
Yeah,
Obviously, we've seen this morning that Anthony Joshua has accepted the 60-40 first fight split with a 50-50 rematch, December 3rd, which we didn't think. We knew that he wanted December 17 at the Principality, but I think he's just bowed to everything that Fury said. 258 obviously put that tweet out. Frank Warren's team replied saying the contract will be with you today, and that's where we are. I was surprised to see that I put out a little tweet earlier because we've already been ahead in sorting hotels and whatever, but every single hotel in Cardiff, apart from one dormitory, on December the 3rd is sold out.
Interesting. So maybe someone's got shares in the hotel business.
Yeah.
Because they must have made a packet today. Non-cancellation policy. Yeah. I don't know. First of all, I think it's a fair split. Normally a champion takes more, but then you've got to represent the commercial value, of course, that Anthony Joshua brings to the table. So yeah, that it's 64. But the first time I heard, they're offering the champions, terms, then I'm thinking, this is just going to be, some 85-15 job or 80-20. Never happened, but look, 60-40 was the figure in my head when I first heard it, and it's fair. The question now is, is one of the two sides bluffing, the ones who made the offer or the ones who have accepted? That's going to be the funny game. Do I think that is it going to be one of these ongoing sagas? Absolutely not, because I think both want to fight this year still. And let's not forget there's a World Cup going on. So yeah, you can be brave and go against the World Cup with a fight like that. But if it's AJ against somebody and Fury against somebody, those of course aren't as big. You're talking about pay-per-view events, so you've got to have something special to really go in against the World Cup. And that's the other day, I think the World Cup 17th, I think that would just about be past the World Cup.
Yeah, I think the day after the final, or maybe the day before.
Yeah, something like that. So that could work well. But I think we'll find out quickly, because either side will have to make a move.
Do you think we'll see it now after these progressive talks today? I think everyone was sort of a bit. So I was doing a lot of interviews last week, and I said it's almost tedious asking, not in the aspect that we don't want to see the fight, but for two years now, all of us boxing media are saying that, are we going to see Fury Joshua? It now feels again like all my friends, for example, who aren't massive boxing fans, they message me, are we seeing Fury AJ? Are we seeing Fury AJ? I've always said no until today, where I feel like there is a hope that we see it. And I don't know. Obviously I know last time it was going to go to Saudi financially, that there's, it's so many things still.
I mean, what I can't quite work out is how it's going to work with the broadcasters. AJ signed a long-term deal with DAZN. Is that affected by the fact he lost? I don't think Fury's going to be released from BT, and if he's offering the champions terms, why should he be? So that part seems to have been agreed, whatever it is, but no one knows what it is. Is it on both? Why not? Why not? But on both platforms, whatever it is, they've agreed to it. So who cares? The question, though, is, like I said before, is one side bluffing the other?
Yeah,
could be either way. And I'd say there's not too much love lost between the pair of them, and that's not the boxers even, that's the team. So, is Frank bluffing Eddie? Is Eddie bluffing Frank? Is Tyson telling Frank that, go on, let's wind them up? Is Eddie saying, come on, let's accept it and see what actually happens? Those are more the questions now. It does seem like there is a deal in place from the outside. And once again, it's not a complicated deal to put together. if those terms have been accepted, then clearly, there's not much to talk about. So why are you just not announcing then? I'm not quite buying the thing that was put out about the mourning of the Queen, which of course is a mourning period, but I don't know of any businesses that have stopped doing transactions because of the mourning of the Queen. I'm sure the Queen wouldn't have wanted that either. But so I don't know. I think there's some very interesting, if you look for a little bit closer at it. But hey, let's accept it for what it is. The fight is on, subject to contract. We've been there before. So there's no arbitrations around the corner, or
God,
the venue's double booked, or I don't know. There's a few get outs still, but let's see. But yeah, as a fan, I'd love to see the fight, of course. So I'm hopeful.
Well, Kalle, top man, I know my colleagues with you up in Bolton this week, and I'll be seeing you at EUBANK Junior BENN week. So thank you very much for your time. Just a final message.
Just looking forward to an amazing calendar of boxing, starting with our event this weekend, live on Channel 5 this Saturday night. Return of Lyndon Arthur, Troy Williamson, British title fights. Going to be a hot night up in Bolton. So looking forward to that. But it rolls on with lots of great shows in the UK. We're going all over the place, Germany and beyond as well in the next few months. But there's so many good fights coming up, so let's enjoy. Let's enjoy, and let's hope that Fury AJ, sorry, champions' rights, gets over the line and sort of puts the Christmas cherry on the cake.